guys, this is Amy from Apex Acres. Thanks for joining me today. Today I just kind of want to talk about some questions I get from just people that know me and know that in my profession I am a custom suit designer for the bodybuilding industry. A lot of people think that me living on a farm and raising animals and having a garden is kind of an unusual thing. And for people in that industry, it really kind of is. It's very much about fashion and fast pace and working out and the whole physical aspect about life. It's really focused around your look more than your feeling or being happy with yourself. It's all about trying to improve your physical appearance. A lot of people ask me, well, why do you garden? Why do you have animals? Like, this is not, when I have clients come to my home to place orders with me, a lot of times they're like, oh wow, I had no idea that you lived on a farm, or I live in a log cabin. A lot of them had no idea. I think a lot of times they think I live, in a white, pristine house with crystal chandeliers and different things like that. And no, I don't live that way. I'm very simple, very humble, just very simple in the way that I live and the way that I choose to do things. Now, why do I have the farm and why do I garden? Well, it's always kind of been a dream of my husband and I to live in a log cabin and have a little farm, which was great. I was always interested in having chickens and having goats. I've loved goats and sheep since I was a little girl. I lived in the country growing up, but I never lived on a farm or anything like that. We lived in a neighborhood in the country. And I always thought that would be something that I'd love to have, is some goats. So fast forward, we bought the farm that we have, and we have 10 acres in rural Indiana. And we added chickens our first year. Pretty sure our first full year that we lived here. The house needed a lot of repairs, so at first we were doing a lot of construction and things like that on the home, making it livable. But yeah, we got chickens our first year, and then it probably wasn't until about 4 years ago that we got goats. Now, we've lived here for 10 years, so which has been quite a while, and I really didn't have a garden until 3 years ago. And what really pushed me to have a garden, and really kind of the goats too, I've kind of been one of those that I've always tried to do my best and work my hardest, and maybe work harder than smarter at a lot of things. I'm a worker by nature. You give me a task and I'll work till it gets done. Maybe thinking of an easier way really isn't kind of my thing. It's just I know one way and that's the way I do it. So I was getting so that I was really stressed out. I had 4 children that were all elementary age, and running them to this thing and that thing and making sure that everything was done for school and home and homework and all that good stuff. And I was just overwhelmed with it, overwhelmed with the whole life, not really having anything for me. And, that whole mom time or personal time is really important, and I didn't have that. I really found each day very stressful. I would wake up in the morning feeling good, and I'm a pretty positive person. I really am. I'm somebody, it takes a lot to upset me and to bring me down. But by the end of the day, I was just exhausted. I felt like my shoulders were up in my ears. My heart would beat heavy. My chest felt tight. And I just didn't feel good, and I was so tired of feeling that way. With the job that I have, things are on very tight deadlines. Sometimes I have to deal with difficult customers, and being the business owner, when it comes down to it, it's my responsibility to have the job done. So basically, I was getting overstressed, overworked, overmothered, and just really was having a hard time with things. And one day I decided, I'm going to try a garden. I had no idea how to garden. I really had tried a couple gardens in the past, but really didn't do a good job. I think out of 3 years I tried to garden, only 1 year I actually grew something successfully that didn't completely drown in the ground or get completely overtaken by weeds, because I just didn't have time to take care of it. So 3 years ago, I told my husband I want to try growing our own food again, start small. And he has all these great grandiose ideas of doing, this great big garden and all these wonderful things that we could grow in this garden. I said, no, I want to start small. I want to feel like I accomplished something, not that I'm defeated because I can't keep up with it or I can't do it. So I asked for 3 garden beds, which are here in my garden. 1, 2, 3. And we've got these round barrels to put in front of them. As you see here, 1, 2, 3. I also had 2 fire rings here and here that we planted as well. And that was it. That was all I planted, but that was plenty for me to get to learn to garden. I watched YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video to learn what to do right and how to do it right, and made sure that I followed every step. And I finally had a successful garden for that year. I was super, super excited about it. And after that first year, boy, I was hooked. It was such a stress reliever. It was such a mindless, or mindful, I should say, activity for me to come out to the garden and watch what I had planted from seed grow and produce fruit. And I was able to nurture this item and get it to grow up and become what I wanted it to be. And these beautiful colors of tomatoes and beautiful colors of, oh gosh, I don't even remember what all I planted, but mainly tomatoes. And I think I did onions and peppers that year. But just to know that those things grew and became what I was hoping for them to become was such a fulfillment in my life. And not that my family couldn't fulfill my life, they could, but this never gave me any kind of stress. My plants didn't argue back. My plants didn't complain. They didn't move things around the house. They didn't make a mess. They were where I needed them to be. It gave me a place to separate myself from the stress that I had of work and home, and just gave me that quiet place that I needed to really have those moments of reflecting. And that is why I garden. Each year we add to my garden and make it bigger. Each year we add to our flock of goats to make it bigger, because they do the same thing for me. Goats don't care about what you've done that day, other than making sure that you fed them. They're there, they'll let you pet them and scratch them and talk to them, and they'll nuzzle you and bump you, just like the plants don't care. As long as you talk to them, you nurture them, you take care of them. There's just something about the hard work of gardening and taking care of a farm, the animals, the chickens, just everything that is so good for your soul. Anyone out there that has problems with stress, or thinking that they don't have a purpose, or they are just completely overwhelmed, I totally urge you to grow a couple plants, because I'll tell you what, it becomes addicting, and it becomes such a wonderful, great, relaxing time in your life, and you just become so much more at peace. I saw a lady the other day who I had actually gone to speak to her as a therapist, and she mentioned, without me saying anything, that I'm such a much calmer person now than when she met me before, and it's all because of my gardening and because of raising my animals. Those things have brought calm and peace to my life that I so much needed. If you are someone who's dealing with a lot of stress or anxiety and needs help, first thing I would say, find someone who can give you help. Second, I would say, take care of a garden or get a pet. Give you something that can help with those anxieties, help give you the calm, take your mind off the stressors, and give you the relax that you need and the ease that you need. You're going to find out that you're going to be a much better person and a much happier person for it. Not only do I feel better as a person, taking care of my garden and my animals, but I know I'm a better mother and I'm a better wife taking care of myself with my garden and with my animals. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe to Apex Acres.